Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz, Shauketaly.
And a wonderful morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And it's a brilliant start to the week. Of course, it was a tame draw. Like to think that the Thomians had the better of the Royalists, but, you know, that's a bit debatable. And there are people in high places who are from Royal, of course, even here. So let's leave that alone. And that was the end of the #1 social event in the Colombo calendar, of course. And to join us this morning and discuss matters with a legal edge is none other than a former diplomat and many things, but he's here. Mr. Hemantawardena Surya. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, Faraz. Good morning.
I was about to say Billy, but it's not your name, is it? Now then, Mr. Hemantawardena Surya, you, amidst all these goings-on in the field of corruption and lack of leadership and departure from process and procedure, we were also encumbered with the goings-on in our hill country. What is this? What is this?
No, this is a politically motivated racist onslaught.
Yeah.
Destabilize this government. This is not an incident that happens here and there. And I, as a member of the TRC, has always been complaining about the manner in which they use the Facebook to incite racial hatred.
I'm glad you're mentioning that, because it really is. I know that we've missed WhatsApp. We have missed WhatsApp because it's a nice means of passing on a message, but not at extortionate cost and so on. But it has always bothered us, and this is coming to focus with these troubles. The absolute inability to control it.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
Some time ago, we were able to find a special electronic software company who was able to monitor all the WhatsApp and Facebook and Twitter on the keyboard. So it's a very simple operation. Now say if you say Janadipati Tata, right, use that word, then all the posts of Janadipati Tata will appear.
Right.
And you will just press a button and get deleted. Now we were all in a because we are not going to ban the Facebook. We are only preventing people from using inflammatory hate speech, racist speech, which people are inviting the others to come and destroy the other communities. You know, there were number of messages asking the Sri Lankan, the Sinhalese to be careful of the Muslim traders because they introduce a thing called Vandapetta to their meals and not to eat from those boutiques. And they also say that some of the places that they sell women's brassieres, there's a gel inside which makes you sterile. Then also there's in all these Muslim boutiques there's a small package where anybody can eat a small piece of sweet, you know, and even that is being intoxicated or with
as a learned man.
Yeah, I mean this shows the utter stupidity of the majority race and the Sinhala people. I mean, this is not possible. I mean, no one in the world.
No, not the majority of the race. The majority of the people who believe this. Right?
No, the problem is this: today, if you go and publish this kind of thing, even the people who are very, very careful in analyzing this, bewildered.
You mean the liberal-minded person?
So that is the thing. Now, see what happened in Ampare. The government, and this thanks to him, within 4 days issued a report, nothing but nothing. It did
It was
not
a lump of
anything,
flour.
A lump of flour. So now, how did this whole thing become so persuasive to people to come and demonstrate and destroy that boutique? Because of Facebook. Now people say, now I'm as a lawyer, I have fought for media freedom, I have fought for the removal of charges against the editors for publication of defamatory libel item. Right now, all that we did, and we removed it from the penal code. But what happened is, we never expected we expected the media to use that provisional power very carefully, and there should be self-criticism. Now today, you can publish anything. You can upload a picture of your girlfriend sleeping in a room with you, and then extort that woman to go and have sexual intercourse with other people. That has come to this. So therefore, the newfound media freedom is deadly. Newfound media freedom on Twitter and Facebook. And I have written to the Facebook. Several people have written to the Facebook, and they are very slow in reacting. But for them, it's nothing. What happened in Sri Lanka has no concern. So therefore, what happened to the software? Software is still behind Kapila Vaidyaratna, the Defence Secretary's thing. He has prevented this from being used. In fact, I sent a message to the Prime Minister through my son-in-law, saying that this is available. Please use this.
It's a bit unfair on Mr. Vaidyaratna.
No, I'm not on my behalf. He must be as a lawyer thinking that we are affecting the media freedom.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say, in the name of media freedom, can you go and incite hatred throughout the community?
Yeah,
and another thing for us, the government has become the body government has become so powerless. The president is absolutely powerless under the 19th Amendment. He has become virtual eunuch. He has absolutely no power to take any action. Now, if a police officer, say the DIG or the SSP or someone takes a negative attitude, does not control the disaster, what can he do? If the IGP fails to do his duty, what can he do? He can do nothing. People talk about Faraz Fonseca. If Faraz Fonseca comes to become the law and order minister, and if he gives an order to arrest someone, the IGP says, no, I'm not going to do that. What can you do?
So that's non-interference. It works both ways.
No, what I'm trying to say is that this is because of the 19th Amendment. These people have tinkered with the Constitution.
Yes,
and then have made the president powerless and the entire government powerless.
Now, what about, there's so much of compensation being paid out for everything, that now the latest cabinet decision is that they're going to set up an office,
they'll set
compensation payment office.
They'll set up the compensation payment office, they'll set up an ombudsman office, they'll set up an office for victims of crime, but nothing happens. Nothing happens. They set up a big establishment, they appoint their political cronies, stooges to their appointments, and the whole thing becomes fast. Compensation has not been paid. There are some people who were affected from the tsunami still waiting for their houses.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
And what have they done? So then look at the Sarawak tragedy. Look at the landslides.
Yeah.
Look at the floods. Look at the droughts. What happened? People are suffering. People are poor.
We mustn't forget, Hemanta, especially in this current context, that there's a whole lot of people over 30 years who were ejected by the LTT. I think there are about 16,000 homes required. And these people who lived in Mana and were ejected by the LTT with 24 hours and just with what they were wearing on their backs, they live in Puttalam. And you need 16,000 homes. That's just for the people from the Muslim community. And then there were around, I think, just under 6,000 homes belonging to Sinhalese people who were also ejected from that area. and even they need homes. So there alone, this nearly 20,000.
Yeah.
In the tsunami people, around 40-odd thousand houses needed in total, including the former conflict areas. I'm told that we need 137,000 homes. And all these people seem to do is have meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and they are not resolving the problem. These people, this is 9 years, 8-9 years after the end of the war. There are still people walking around in threadbare clothes, no jobs. They don't have the basic, they don't have a place to stay. I've been there, Hemanta. They've had makeshift homes out of old corrugated sheets, a little bit of mud here, a few blocks of breeze blocks there, and they've put together a structure which they call home. What's going on? And there are people here talking about megapolis.
The whole problem in this country is there are no policies. The policies that one government tried to establish, even for the good of the country, is changed overnight. Other people come in and they talk and talk and talk and give impression to the people that tomorrow the matters will be settled. And so this question of 16,000 people living in Putlam is also similar to those people are living, refugees living in the northern district, the Tamils, who have been displaced, who are still living in refugee camps. They also don't have homes. They can't even get back their land.
Well, this is what I mean.
So there is no concerted action, because we are the country is such economic turmoil, and especially after the bond scam, we don't have any investments coming in. No one is going to come here and invest here. People have lost the confidence, and there is no leadership. People talk of Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew had immense power. And here, what did our pundits do? They said, remove the powers of the president and make him an impotent eunuch who cannot do anything other than just give orders. I will tell you another classic example. I spoke to some Air Force, former Air Force commander, not a commander, deputy commander, who joined the Lanka, and he was unreasonably interdicted because he had been pinpointing about the scandals that are going on the Rajapaksa regime and his government. And under this regime, under this present Surendra Ratwa's regime, what happened? He was interdicted on the basis that he failed to refuse to breathalyzer test. Then Faraz, he sent a memorandum to the president. The president summoned the entire board of Air Lanka, Sri Lankan Airlines, to the cabinet and questioned them why this man was interdicted. They could not give an answer. Then what happened, Faraz? After having agreed that this was wrong, they went back. And what did they do? They said, when this man applied for reinstatement, he said, no, we are not going to reinstate you because the president had not given us in writing. So now you can imagine the position of the president. Now what can the president do? Can he sack the chairman of the Air Lanka? I mean, with greatest difficulty, he managed to remove Arjuna Mahendran, because the whole Japan had become a concoction of various people who are unable, who have no direction, no policy, nothing towards maintaining law and order and maintaining good governance.
A question of leadership. After this short break, we'll look into that with a little more detail. And welcome back to Newsline. A question being asked by one of our viewers is, why is compensation always getting delayed for years for victims of tragedies, but the Prime Minister and ministers specially order and import vehicles worth billions of rupees and they arrive on time, implying that there is money? Why is that then?
The reason is there must be consciousness. You must be able to feel that you are liable to honor your word.
So there's a disconnect between what the people want and what the Prime Minister and company
there's a disconnect between what the Prime Minister says and what he does.
Right.
The Prime Minister has always said, the government and other politicians have always said, yeah, we are going to pay compensation.
Right.
From the time now Salah was still, you can see the house has not been built. Nothing has happened. Nothing has happened, and you're talking about 11,000 refugees in Puntland. What about the refugees in Jaffna? What about the refugees all over the country? What about the people who lost their homes, lost their beloved through various
16,000 homes.
Yeah, 16,000. Yeah.
Now then, I want to ask you this. To all these events, because after a long battle, we were able to get our peace back. Right, and people are by and large very happy because Sri Lankans are all liberal-minded fellows, and we don't really want to kill each other and hit each other. We just want to carry on. Right, now then, in that context and in what's happened now, aren't there any rules, aren't there any laws to control all this?
Faraz, some time ago, about 3 years ago, there was a Muslim gentleman who said various things about Lord Buddha and Buddhism. And then the Reverend Jnanasara complained to the police. On that complaint, he was brought to court. When he was brought to court, I showed to the magistrate, there's a ICRPT law, which in 2000, which have been ratified, which have been adopted by the UN, and which are ratified by our country and adopted as a law in 2007 in order to please the UN. But this law has become a dead letter.
What is that?
The law is, if you make any statement, any sign, any statement which might arouse the communal hatred amongst each other, they should be arrested, produced in the magistrate's court, and no bail will be granted unless you go to the high court.
But isn't there all this trouble?
Now what happened? I told the magistrate, if this man were remanded on the very first day on that law, all this escalation of violence would have stopped. Then the people would know the law which prevents you from making hate speeches against another community. But the magistrate himself was unable or refused that because at that time this man was brought into court by Mr. Andosen Naik and tried to bring about a settlement. Why? Because everyone is beholden to the votes, to Sinhala Buddhist votes and to the minority votes. Then similarly, Jnanasara could have also been remanded under the same law. If that happened, Jnanasara went to remand for a few days, and what happened for Faraz? He now has become very quiet. So the reason is, when this happened, when these hate speeches took place, I told several times, arrest these people, produce them in court under this law, and then we don't want emergency. No one can blame because the UN has adopted this. You can't call, I'm telling you, you can't call even a Muslim a Tambia. That may amount to hate speech, and you can be remanded. So people do not want to enforce the law. People are silent. Police do not know the law, and they do not know what is happening, and the whole country is burning. Because we have, the amount of sacrifices that Muslim community did in order to gain independence. First, then after in the war, how many brave Malay soldiers, officers gave their life to save this country.
I think that the public at large are not at odds with each other.
No, absolutely not.
But it is a shocking indictment on the ability or on the disability of the leadership.
There are allegations that the politicians, both in the government and in the opposition, were responsible for this riot.
I'm sure he was, because if you remember in 83, we had the president who twiddled his thumbs for 2 days. Unfortunately, even though he was economically, did wonderful things for our country and so on, but in terms of that, there was inaction. He twiddled his thumb for 2 days, and two cabinet ministers, Matthew and Ahmed Mudali, were said to be involved in that mayhem.
Now
the same thing's happening here.
Now,
what about these people who want to make political gain under the guise of nationalism?
I believe the police or anything is under. There must be a special judges appointed to the Supreme Court, so the public can petition, and the investigation, like in India, can be carried out under the supervision of the Supreme Court.
But don't you think that it is only politically bankrupt politicians who use this vile and unacceptable communal card to return to power or to regain something that they were obviously not very good at?
Bankrupt politicians do depend on bankrupt people, voters. They also feel when this absolutely false information is spread, they feel they are threatened. They feel their religion is threatened. They feel their beliefs are threatened, and they silently permit this to happen. When the massacre took place of the 13 soldiers in the prisons, people headed by that Shauketaly Nayaka, people just condoned it. People did not say anything against it. So therefore, the bankrupt politician knows the kind of the power of the intellect of the ordinary people who came aroused by these things. But what I'm trying to say, why cannot the government instigate and then arrest if there is any suspicion of any politician, record statements, both in the opposition? There are two names that have been transpired and one name in the government. Record statements, produce them in court under this law and let them get bail from the High Court. I mean, if there is a very powerful law, whether it's the hate speech, whether it's on the television, whether it's on the internet, whether it's on Facebook, you can do that. Now, look at that priest, Damara Amala. He is castigating the president in the most unfair manner. And what happened? In the name of freedom and the free speech, we just listen to that.
Are we too tolerant in this country?
Not that we are tolerant. We have become powerless because of the 19th Amendment, which have been brought by Prime Minister's henchmen. They only want to take power away from the president and give to someone else. Now, there is no executive president, there is no executive prime minister. The whole country is in turmoil.
We can't keep blaming the Prime Minister for all this, because what were the others doing? Were they asleep?
No, they were all asleep, because they were all asleep, because under the Prime Minister everybody is asleep. Under the Prime Minister, do you think that anyone can raise their voice? If they raise their voice, then they are treated the manner in which he could be treated, because they dictate in the party.
Now then, very quickly, last few minutes of the program, what can we do to bring back Arjuna Mahendra?
There is enough law, even under the emergency. Now, so many people have been arrested. They must not be released. They must be indicted. The Attorney General you must tell the Attorney General, file indictments as soon as possible, or file charges in the Magistrates Court, and then do not let these people go on bail. Let them know what it means to burn the houses of innocent Muslims who have absolutely nothing to do with Digana. I was told by a politician, Mr. Sarath Konga's wife, she cried. Why did she cry? Because 2 houses close to her was burned, and she could not get anyone to protect her until DIG Latif from the STF came to her rescue.
Well, I am told, people from the area told us that this is not the people of the village. These are
absolutely no. These are organized crime, organized by the politicians to bring people from outside. They bring them in buses from the south, from here and there, and then do that. And look at the Muslim community have been living in our villages, with us. Right, and then how now they are unlike the Tamils, they don't have a separate conclave. So how they have been interacting very well with the Sinhalese.
The thing is, 230 people from all sorts of backgrounds and so on have been arrested.
But that's not enough. I said investigate and find out whether there's any political motivation.
There must be a mastermind.
Mastermind, definitely. I mean, you know how did they find the money to bring this bring them to the Kandy, and why Kandy? So this is the thing. If the government has become so powerless,
yes,
and so unable to govern because of the tinkering of the constitution which is made under the 19th Amendment.
Somebody says you must mention the name of bankrupt politicians.
Yeah, I don't want to mention them because I'm not sure of these all rumor and gossip. The police must investigate people.
But it's clear it may be rumor.
Yeah, because it's already.
But the point is, it's clear that a road rage incident that happened around the 22nd of
Absolutely,
February is cannot just move on to becoming a matter of national importance when the president has to declare emergency.
That is the isolated petty incident which had nothing to do with communal violence. And what happened in Ampari, we Sinhalese must be ashamed to believe this rubbish that is being told, that is spread maliciously by our own community, by racialists who want to ensure that all of the minor they are actually taking revenge on the Muslim community for having voted for this government.
Can I quickly ask a question, just because this is the last couple of minutes? It's a legal question. Under the right to information, do you think that I'm able to ask and get a proper response from the ambassador to Singapore? If I was to ask for whom he met and whom he entertained in the last 2 months, as the ambassador or as even in his private capacity, but using his official residence, do you think it's something that can be declared under the right to information?
Yeah, I mean, you can always, you have the right to ask, and then it depends on what the ambassador and what the foreign ministry thinks about it. Ambassador is beholden, you're right, to the foreign minister, but you can't.
Well, I have a problem with if somebody is wanted by the Sri Lankan police or authorities for questioning, then I have a problem if our ambassador in that country, is entertaining that chap and doing so with our purse.
Yeah. So that is the matter. It's better for you, person like you, investigative journalist. Go to Singapore, get information, and publish it.
That could go down to the Foreign Office.
And the Foreign Office, when you write to the Foreign Office will decide what should be done and what should not be done. But you can get this whole question asked in Parliament through some important through a member of Parliament. Ask the Foreign Minister whether this has happened. And whether then he'll have to answer that question.
Good. Well, that's what we'll have to do, because it's getting a bit of a joke that Arjuna Mahendran is missing.
What about others? What about only Arjuna? And then what about the other people who have been named?
Well, yes, I know.
What are they doing about it?
Well, 2 of them are in remand.
No, not 2. There are so many others. What are the politicians involved in this?
Yes.
What happened to them?
It's
in fact, there are the client of mine who want to file action in the Supreme Court, asking why these politicians are not named, why there are no investigations.
Right. Well, perhaps you might want to come over next week and give us a better analysis of all that. Hemantu Anakurusira, as always, it's wonderful having you, and we look forward to getting your different perspectives.
Thank you.
And that's about it from Newsline on this wonderful Monday, the 12th of March 2018. Enjoy the rest of the week. Take care and God bless.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.